I've been trying to make this video for a couple of weeks now, and I've sat down and I've made a natal chart and progressed to solar return and many different charts, but only just for myself. And it was tonight that I realized that I needed to do composite chart with the person involved. This person would be my grandmother, Miller, who had died back in 1989. And what's in my natal chart is amazing and in the solar return. But tonight I was zoning out, playing Candy Crush, and it occurred to me to pull up our composite chart. I hadn't done that. And the progressed composite chart, which is the relationship now, was the most definitive. When I compare it to all of my other charts, it's pretty amazing. Today is January 11th, 2025, and Eris has stationed direct. The nodes have switched from Aries Libra to Pisces Virgo, and 29 Pisces is actually my dad's sun degree, and this is his mother that this video is about. 0 degrees Aries is actually my Diaretsa, which is asteroid backwards. And so Kali and the sun are conjunct today, and Eris has stationed direct, and Eris is discord for positive change, a rebellious energy, can be destructive, Pluto's little sister. So I have pulled up here, I keep a word file for all my asteroids, several actually, different, so that I can use the keyword search. And Kali is, it can be a destructive force. It's your Kundalini, your awakening energy. It's the left-hand path. Transcending the shadow feminine. Utilizing Shakti to achieve great things, intensifies anything it touches. So the sun is conjunct Kali today. It makes you a human antenna if it's very strong in you. I know somebody who actually has sun conjunct Kali and has had struggled with his psychic perceptions his whole life and addiction to try to drown them out. That's another path that I have is addiction. My father was an abusive alcoholic, but despite his actions, he was a family man. He was very devoted to his family of origin, his mom, his dad, and I've been studying that dynamic with various charts and trying to understand with what I've known. I never knew my grandmother. She passed away in 1989, and her funeral was actually the first one I went to that it disturbed me because she didn't look like my grandma, and I wasn't ever really close to her. I didn't know her much personally on a level. But what she did do for me, every year on my birthday, she made me a pistachio cake, and it had whipped cream, pistachio pudding, frosting on it, and I looked forward to that. She would make that for me every year. So this Kroger I did not really intend to go to had something I'd never seen before, and it was some pistachio muffins, and I just knew. I knew it was from her. I knew if I pulled up a chart, it would all line up, and it most certainly has. And Kroger and Eris were conjunct at that time. Also, while I was in the store, I kind of melted down on somebody that I knew about my personal problems and surprised them to hear about what's really been going on in my life. But anyway, so Kroger and Eris were conjunct, and now Eris is stationed direct. Miller has gone retrograde recently, and so has Ginky, which is my childhood nickname. So everything is lined back up for this epiphany to happen tonight to look at this chart. So without much further ado, here we go. This is the progressed composite chart for my grandmother and I. Her name's Dorothea. And the progressed composite is the relationship now. The composite chart is a chart of the relationship itself, uh, put together from the two natal charts, birth charts of the people involved. And our composite chart still shows amazing things as well, but this one had it the most lined up. And since it is current times and way far away from 1989, it makes it even more amazing to see. On December 23rd, when this occurred, Chiron was just stationing direct, getting ready to, which is our wounds, our wounded inner child, the wounded healer. And Mercury had just stationed direct a week previously at the Gemini full moon, and when it stationed direct at 6 degrees 23 minutes, it was trying the Chiron of the progressed composite here exactly 623. So here to over here, you can see the Chiron is 623. The Gemini full moon happened in the ninth house, which does rule grandparents. In Gemini here, that's relatives, family, communication, thoughts. And connecting to this Chiron here directly is her name in transit. 6 degrees 34 minutes, just past that 6 degree 23 Chiron here. This is an Aries, sixth house, daily routines. It's hard to explain the charts when you look at the esoteric and the exoteric ways of looking at it. Exoteric is more of a karmic way of looking at it. So just bear with me here. I'm not here to teach a whole bunch of astrology, just to kind of show what I've seen. If you understand astrology, then you really see what I'm getting at. Otherwise, you can pick up on all the matches and amazing things here that lined up numerically on this day that my grandmother sent me some pistachio muffins to cheer me up. I guess, let's see, I was in between two full moons that this happened. The first one happened December 15th in Gemini at 23 degrees 52 minutes, which matches up around this chart and the other charts. And at the new moon in Capricorn at 9 degrees 43 minutes, that occurred on December 30th. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So that's opposite our Saturn here. And this ninth house also, Cancer, family, and intuition. So we have a Cancer full moon going on right now, Monday, in 2 more days. Yeah, so things are kind of lining up. So we're in between these two. There is a full moon lunar total eclipse March 14th this year at 23 degrees 58 minutes. It also connects to that Gemini full moon. You can see it sits right here at our progressed composite. This is the part of fortune, which is the luck. And Ceres is the nurturer. It's related to grains, like you would find in a muffin. Ceres is a very powerful point in the chart for caring and nurturing. And it connects to our Mars here in the 10th house, Leo, the heart, ruled by the sun. Our composite chart is ruled by the sun, as it's a Leo rising in the composite chart. And the sun here is connecting exactly to the Neptune here in the 12th house. That's the subconscious, and a karmic house along with the 6th. And it's opposite our vertex, Destiny's Gateway, and our Eris. Here, it's also connecting to our Kali and to transiting Ceres here, which is opposite the sun. See this? So connection. So this right here, I just put location. I have a specific way of developing a location that I have not shared yet, and I'm not ready to because I don't believe anybody else has done it. So that was also on the Neptune. And Neptune is, beyond the veil also. It's just like with Pluto, with having contracts with people, beyond death. So our chart is the progressed composite is Libra rising, ruled by Venus, and Venus here at 1752. I use the six-pointed star here, which is a ancient symbol of magic and connecting to the soul while here on Earth. And that is connecting to our Vesta in the seventh house relationships here. Vesta is the caretaker. Vesta is the holder of ancient secret wisdom. I have that conjunct my sun. It's connecting. What did I do? Wound up using the same one for two different ones? Looks like it. It's connecting to our Mercury in Cancer. It definitely put my thoughts in the home and family, and of course now I'm communicating it on a YouTube channel about my family. It's connecting to the Pluto. As I said, Pluto is related to contact beyond death. It's also, the esoteric studies, occult studies, generally considered taboo, like astrology. And looks like I did use it twice. Nothing like confusing myself more. Her maiden name was actually on our Pluto right here in Leo. I've had a lot of contact also from her mother at very unusual times, especially on her mother's birthday, which has a lot of history for me. So it also connects to my current last name at 17 degrees 35 minutes here on our Uranus in the third house, which is ruled by Mercury, and it's the house of communications and relatives in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the seeker for truth, ruled by Jupiter, and this ninth house here is connected also to it with grandparents. So Uranus is the unexpected. Like I said, I've never seen pistachio muffins in that store at all, ever. And for them to be on the markdown rack, which is where I generally look because I'm a Virgo moon and I like to look for bargains for my little Taurus Venus. So yeah, so my last name was on Uranus, and here's some unexpected family stuff. Communication from family. Okay, so I guess we'll go to the other two, the twos that were connecting the South Node and the Moon. Now, the Moon is maternal figures and intuition. Rules our midheaven here, which is Cancer. And it was conjunct almost exactly the South Node around the time that I was in Kroger. And that makes a square to Ginky, which is my childhood nickname. Ninth house grandparents. Like I said, I never really was close with my grandmother, so I've tried to make a lot of connections. I'm actually a lot like her, and it's funny because in my natal chart, her name is right at my ascendant, and Mercury was exactly opposite it that day also. But I'm a lot more like her than I probably ever thought before. So when I first charted her name in my chart and saw where it fell, I thought that was very curious. She was a Gemini. I'm a Gemini rising, but we both over care for people to the point that we enable them, which is what she did with my dad. So anyway, so Genki here is opposite our Kroger. The sun is almost on it, and it's right in between the address of the Kroger and our Kroger. It also connects to that South Node past, And the moon, maternal figure, intuition, which is opposite the north node here in the 6th house, Aries. And that's what it was. The sun was actually at 1 degree 35 minutes at noon that day, 30 degrees exactly to our Juno, which is related to soul contracts. And the 2nd house is our beliefs and values, things we've inherited from others, including things that have been passed down generationally. And that's Sagittarius. So we have, what else? Go to my dad. My dad's name, this is his exact first name, was here in Capricorn, 4th house, home and family. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, which is the authority figures, the father, the elderly. So my dad's name sitting here at 2735, connecting to our progressed composite name of my dad, with Neptune sitting right here at it, just within 2712, 2751, pretty close. And connecting to Gianna here in the 1st house of the relationship, Libra, relationships. Balancing, I've definitely been balancing a lot in my brain, and Libra is about balance. Trying to make sense of healing my childhood and me now. So her maiden name in our progressed composite chart is also 2757. So you can see that makes a quincunx right here, 5 signs away. And then this is a sextile right here. And this actually makes a finger of God to her maiden name, which, like I said, is fascinating because his grandmother, who really doted on him, was very important. Even my mom chose to leave my dad finally on her birthday. And right before he died, while I was taking care of him, I received messages from her. That's a whole nother story. So anyway, so we have this finger of God here, and it's also involving Gianna. Spirit up here in transit at 2714 is connecting to all of those. All right. So what else do we have? Gagnero, which is basic me, in the house of home and family and deep private inner emotions, is almost exactly just 1 minute away from asteroid Pistachio. And that is connecting to transit Pistachio at 20 degrees 22 minutes. So it's only 30 minutes away from that. More than likely, there is something up here. It would make a finger of God to this full moon in Gemini. But if I just kept adding in more asteroids that I know, things would line up even more. Let's not get it too confusing. And Vesta here in transit is connecting to that. Nope, I'm already jumping. Be patient. Are those my only purples? The location. So we have Pistachio here in transit, Gagnero and Pistachio here, and the location is exactly in the middle of it. All right, now we can go to the 24s that are connecting to the full moon in Gemini and the eclipse. The street name in transit here in Scorpio, ruled by that Pluto. Vesta in Libra relationships, the caretaker, 2533, almost on my Gianna. Like I said, our part of fortune, our luck and lot in life, and our Eris and our progressed composite are 24 degrees. And as well as our Mars and Leo here. And so is our Jupiter. Transit Eris and Kroger are both right at 24 degrees. Uranus, 23 degrees 53 minutes. almost 24 degrees. So a lot connecting there as well. And Uranus and Jupiter, which rules grandparents, and luck in Pisces here, which rules the Neptune and the 12th house. Uranus and Jupiter make a finger of God to the part of fortune, and the Ceres grains care and nurturing. All right, what else do we have? Transit Jupiter at 14 degrees 15 minutes in Gemini is making a square to Miller at 14 degrees 14 minutes over here in Virgo. Virgo likes to be of service. Virgo likes details and things to be nice and neat. I said I have a Virgo moon. We have a really great attention to detail. Something just told me. I'd already made one pistachio video just on a lark because of a friend of mine making ice cream for his wife. But so I already knew there was an asteroid pistachio. So let's see, what else do we have? Mermaid name on Pluto. The lightning bolts. With the lightning bolts, we have asteroid Miller right here close to the Venus, which rules the chart. The Venus is just on the 12th house side. But the Miller at 12 degrees 37 minutes connects to Kali in a positive trine. And that 12th house Venus, right here on the cusp, this being on a cusp of a house is very strong, very important. Connects to the emotional foundation and the roots also. And that's in, like I said, Capricorn. Grandparents, the father, authority figures. And Kali was sitting right here. That would also connect to the Saturn at 13 degrees 54 minutes, which is opposite the Venus. So there's the elderly, the grandparents, authority figures. Saturn is also the teacher. Opposite the Venus. Okay. 22. Now, anything, like if you have 20 degrees here, if you go 2 degrees either way, it also connects to it, but they don't give me enough colors, so it's kind of frustrating. So the basic stars here, transit Gianna at 22 degrees is exactly opposite our Dorothea in the 12th house, and that's beyond the veil, the subconscious, a karmic house. That would also connect to our moon in Cancer here, the intuitive moon, the maternal figure at 2141, which is very close to 22 degrees. All right, so then we also have, I know there was something else, the North Node here in the 4th house. And the South Node in the family here are connecting to Juno, soul contracts. The street name at 15 degrees 27 minutes is making a square to my current last name, opposite the Vesta, and it's making a T-square between the future, the past, and my current last name. The Mars, transit Mars here at 4 degrees 25 minutes is making a positive sextile here to the address at 4 degrees 41 minutes, which is in the 8th house, ruled by that Pluto. Transit Genki here at 0 degrees 24 minutes is making an in conjunct, which is karmic and uncomfortable, sometimes very uncomfortable, to the Pluto at 0 degrees 45 minutes. Not only does it make that inconjunct that direction, the address of that Kroger also makes an inconjunct. And there's another finger of God. That is a yod. All right, let's see. Anyway, I think may have just about covered everything. I haven't messed up too much. Um, the Mercury might be the last one, making it inconjunct to that Saturn in the ninth house. Uh, Mercury rules my chart. And with Jupiter in Gemini, my first house, I've been so busy lately, I've not been able to sit down to do this. My thoughts have been everywhere. And so an inconjunct, like I said, can be very uh, hard to balance. But it's also known as the idiot savant aspect. And I have quite a few inconjuncts in my natal chart. So it's part of why I was able to start doing this. Anyway, this should give you an idea of how I look at things and how my grandmother came to lift my spirits with her pistachio muffins. Uh, so, anyway, just another weird day in my life. Thanks for watching.